Thanks for staying with us. Let's now take you through the front pages of Nigerian newspapers to see what the headlines are and return quickly for some analysis of the major issues we'll be seeing this morning. The Nation newspaper taking up the way right here, and this is on politics. Taking power from South in 2027 is undesirable. This is quoting Aliyu. We will talk about how that is really undesirable. Still on the same lane of conversation, the Hope newspaper is showing us something from Ondo State. Governor Atewa finally is heaving a huge sigh of relief as the appeal court has affirmed him and his deputy as duly elected governor and deputy of Ondo State. Would say congratulations to His Excellency right there. And on the Blueprint newspaper, amid Lego tussle, ADC crisis deepens. Deputy Chair Nafiu declares self-chairman. The party hasn't even found a seat yet. And we're seeing all of this. Well, the Daily Independence shifts attention to economy this morning. And we see right here, Tinubu's charging governors on resource trickling down to the grassroots. About time this becomes a front burner in our power and resource sharing control. And on the matters of health, the leadership and this Nigeria is showing us something a little bit different right here. The leadership newspaper, many critical ill patients are being rejected, says UUTH CMD. Again, this is amidst the strike by the nurses in the country, but the minister is working pretty much to ensure that that does not go beyond its limit. And on this Nigeria, a sad one here, Benue has recorded 31 suspects of Mpox cases in 5 local government areas. We will talk on some of the measures being put in place to nip that in the bud. The Punch newspaper talking on fuel wars. We're waiting to see the last of this. Marketers warn against disruption as Dangote plans direct fuel supply. Wish I had a fuel station myself. And News Direct is taking us on education this morning. State governors declare emergency on Nigeria's education crisis. Thankfully, this is a wake-up call on that matter. The Platform Times is shining the spotlight on a 1 year after NBAD governance crackdown. No justice for victims, Amnesty International is saying, and they're saying 24 protesters have been killed, none prosecuted yet to that effect. And for the first time in sports, we're seeing another paper go that lane. That is the Guardian newspaper. But first, let's take the Sporting Life, which we see right there. The story continues. This is for Osimhen, Tegala fans. He has made his decision. He's undergoing his medicals. And so we wait to see the finality of the matter. But then on the Guardian newspaper this morning, ladies and gentlemen, we see right here, uncertainty for FIFA, soccer fans over Trump's America First policies. The President, Donald Trump, is making sure America comes first, as it should be. Veronica, Lamide, and Etoma. Let's talk politics first on the Nation newspaper.
Okay.
Power being taken from the South. Aliyu here is saying that is an undesirable matter. The South is not, thinking of jostling, or should I say, coming into the ring to fight with President Tinubu.
Oh, well, President Tinubu is from the Southwest. Aliyu is actually talking to the northern leaders and northern politicians, telling them that, look, allow the South to finish their 8 years. Taking it from them right now will not be nice if we have to take the rotation policy into consideration. It's another way of endorsing Mr. President for 2027. That's the way I see it.
Of course, Veronica, we've been seeing quite a lot of endorsements for the president across board, from the north to the south, the east, and the west of this country. It seems like he would move into the ring unopposed, somewhat.
Well, we cannot conclude because
Yet.
everybody has the right, based on the Constitution, to throw their hat into the ring and contest. So until the party endorses him fully, which we have seen happening, and there is no opposition from the party members, that's fine. That's for his party. But say from other parties, definitely. The northern leaders that are speaking belong to several different parties, and they are, speaking about their grounds, how they feel that the North had been marginalized. And you see the former Niger State Governor, Babangida Aliyu, saying, no, that is not the case. The president has been speaking and doing certain things, like we mentioned yesterday.
Right.
The rail line that he promised them, that is already on the works, 53% has been
already.
done. So it's in phases. They should perhaps calm down and allow him consolidate on what he has begun in his first term, so that he can do that in his second term, finish up whatever project he's doing, and then you can talk about coming to wrest power or take over power, whichever way you want to look at it. But I think that this whole conversation, it stems from the matter of the dissatisfaction that some of them are feeling, which is based on their rights. I think that ministers from that extraction, people who occupy positions from that extraction, should begin to speak about what perhaps this administration has been doing in that region. And also, this same Aliyu, former Niger State Governor, had said that, you know what, you northern elders had sat and folded your arms looking, and perhaps this is why you're not seeing the development that you expect to see. If you had been speaking up, addressing issues of security, it would be easy for any government to say, you know what, let's quickly do certain things.
Of course.
But when there are security issues, how do you expect development in the pace you desire?
And which is quite sad, Veronica, you raised quite a number of matters there, especially on these security matters. We see that some of the times the persons who go about causing some of this mayhem we see are known by people in the communities. And so if they are not exposed adequately to the right authorities, how then can this be stopped?
And that is why some persons think that the matter of security is being used as a tool for negotiation during election campaigns and all of it. That's why some persons do not want it to end. That is why some persons are not speaking up as at when they should. But it's not helping development. We are talking about out-of-school children. We are talking about so many other issues, developmental issues, and development not trickling down to the people. And yet you keep complaining, hours to election. I would say hours to election.
Indeed, because it's not a long time to do all of that. And I'm really hoping that the northern elders and leaders and persons who occupy different political positions would for once come together and make up their mind to develop the North. I really look forward to that.
The North has numbers, and so if they utilize those numbers and put up a united front, they will be unstoppable, and they will see very commendable development. Right now with the ADC, Nafiu declaring himself, we're seeing a political identity crisis at its beginning. And if the ADC cannot prioritize internal democracy today, how can we expect national reform tomorrow? You know what I mean? Nafiu was elected unopposed as the ADC governorship candidate for, I believe, 2023. So he's a key political figure. I think that because of the fact that he is from the North, he knows the issues of the North, as you raised. They're being marginalized, and he wants to take autonomy over that and do something for his people. So we'll see how it goes.
Let me take you to the weekend newspaper, Weekend Hope, right here. Governor Yedatiwa has been affirmed as the governor of Ondo State. But a matter here that got my attention: the Chief Judge freed 12 prison inmates in Ondo and has lamented poor conditions. Veronica, if you remember, on this table, we read a conversation that came from the Minister of Interior about the cost of feeding inmates. And I asked, I said, does it take all that trillion? Now the siege is freeing 12 inmates, and he's saying the conditions are poor. I don't understand. The trillions and poor. What's that?
It's not related.
So perhaps what they're saying is, based on those monies that you mentioned some time ago that we talk about, maybe they are focusing more on feeding as against infrastructure. Remember or recall that there was a prison break sometime in the North Central, some years ago, and then when the rains fell, there was another situation where one of the prisons, a wall collapsed, and we began to talk about the need to improve on the infrastructure of our prisons. And because of the nature of things that we are seeing, there's so many inmates, yet the infrastructure cannot accommodate a majority of them. And so there was the need to either build prisons or look at what we can do. And we had a conversation. I do not know why they are focusing more resources on things that are not improving the capacity of the prisons as against just feeding. I think we need to prioritize. What is the Ministry of Interior doing regarding that?
Remember, Olamide, there's a story you picked yesterday on Trending Now.
About the young man.
boy that was freed.
Emeka Nzeruki, I remember
him.
his name. The thing is that before we even come down to inmates, let's talk about our soldiers at the front line. Let's talk about our nurses, our key players of essential work. They're not even being fed well. I took a story on Trending Now about the grains and the one piece of fish that they gave. So if we cannot even prioritize these key players, what more about inmates that are victims of the legal system? They're languishing in prison. We're not going to prioritize them.
Toma, let me quickly take you to the Blueprint newspaper. Again, the issue of the ADC, the newly formed party, the deputy chair is declaring himself the chairman.
And it reminds me of the crisis in Labour Party. That's how the crisis started. Somebody said, no, I am the rightful leader of the party. And the other one said, no, I'm not the rightful leader of the party. It's almost the same dance that's about to happen in the ADC. And I'm wondering, can't you guys just decide on what you want? You have a party. The party has a constitution. Follow the constitution and let's know who the leader is and who the leader is not. I recall that when the bigwigs adopted ADC, the original ADC members were saying, what's going on? These people are, they just come like a tsunami and swept everything. I think this is the fallout of it. And ADC should learn from what Labour Party had to go through.
Let me still stay with you, but this time on to the Daily Independent. The president is charging governors on resource control trickling down to the grassroots. Frankly speaking, does the president even need to remind our governors that?
It is sad that it got to a point where the president had to say that thing. When I saw the headline, I said, oh my God, this clearly shows that the governors are, is it that they don't know what they are doing, or this refusal to allow local governments to have their autonomy is really affecting the way resources get down. So now Mr. President has found himself in a position where he has to beg them, I beg, big small thing, reach these people.
No, I think from my perspective, I couldn't hold myself. Please don't be angry.
Please, go ahead.
I think it is failure on the path of the governors.
That's
if
right.
I have to tell you what you swore
Exactly
to do, and I have to remind you that this is what you have to do, I think that you have failed. Because this is not the first time he talked about the matter of allowing resources trickle down to the people. Recall that when Yewata was being sworn in as the chairman, he was speaking to...
The same thing.
He said the same thing. Allow resources get to the grassroots. Let it get to the roots, beyond the grass. What is the challenge? That is why I am saying that when you are giving resources, because the allocation these people are getting now is triple what they used to get before now. And yet we are still talking about allowing these matters trickle down to people, then there's something wrong.
And I just want to add to what you're saying. You're very right, Veronica. The charge is, and the failure is apparent on the governors. But I will say this, we keep on forgetting in this country that governance is for the grassroots. It's not for the top level people. It is for the grassroots. And so this is actually very unacceptable and very, very scary.
And you know what?
I constantly say that there is a place for empathy in politics. And this also comes into it. We need benevolent gatekeepers. People who are at the state level don't clog the resources, but allow it trickle down. We need more empathy.
The unfortunate thing is that we're just speaking grammar.
Yeah.
Now, the people that are meant to hold them to account, who are the people, are supposed to point and hold their governors to account, but they are looking above the government, are looking at the federal government.
That's why I have an issue.
That is where the issue is for me.
Everything in Nigeria, people naturally will think of the center. Mr. President, help us.
Yes.
Mr. President, help us. Mr. President is not Red Cross. He is the president.
President.
You know, and he has a whole lot of things to do. We have to educate our people I believe that will help.
Hold
We have to
your local
educate our
government
people.
accountable.
Let them know the people they can hold accountable for one thing or another. Yesterday, I think it was yesterday, we were talking about teachers and all that.
Yes.
And quite a number of people do not know that primary school education system is the purview of the local government. You know, Nigerians just don't know. We need to educate them.
Well,
Please move on.
hard matters like this
Because he was angry, I didn't know what he was.
just gets on my nerves. You know. But the leadership newspaper is talking health as well as this Nigeria, Veronica Etoma, and
Olamide.
I wanted to say Ria.
Yeah,
Come on, guys, I'll leave.
But on this Nigeria, Benue is recorded 31 suspected Mpox cases in 5 local government areas. Now, according to the rider here, a town hall meeting is to be held, commencing vaccination to curtail such, Olamide, 31 already.
That is very, very scary. And why is that frightening? Is because of the fact that Benue is currently going through an internally displaced persons pandemic, or should I say crisis. The rate at which this has the potential to spread is what is scary. So not only are these people facing a security crisis, a food crisis, they now face a looming health crisis. We need intervention. This is what we need to declare a state of emergency for.
Of course,
Veronica,
that's happening.
could you add to this on the same, this Nigeria here? The nurses are saying that.
The nurses, I know you come.
I knew you were voting for that.
No, because today I'm just riled up about so many issues.
Right.
And we are going to see the minister speak with these persons, engage with them. They have said that the nurses now have said that they are not returning back to work until their demands are met. What are they asking for? Improved welfare. And that the fact that what they are working with is nothing to write home about. When they look at their counterparts outside the country, these are the reasons why a number of them just get out of the country, saying, you know what, I cannot be working in this kind of condition. And so why the government needs to wait to have conversations with them, because they are on strike. A number of persons have died as a result of this.
That's right.
I was listening to the news while on my way to work, and a lady said her friend's mother died because she took her to the hospital, and they said that there is nobody to attend to her. She needs to go back. So the crisis, we may not understand the magnitude, but we need our health system to work for the average Nigerian who do not have the money to travel outside the country or use private hospitals. That must be said.
All right, and what annoys me is that there was a 15-day window before the strike started. There was a 15-day window. Why didn't the minister hold these negotiations within those 15 days? Why did we have to wait for the strike to start and people die before we start talking about negotiations? For Mpox, it's called monkeypox actually. And the funny thing about it is that the town hall meeting they held is saying that the vaccination is not going to be statewide, and I'm saying why?
Why not?
It has to be. It's a viral attack. The spread is very fast.
So I really wish we had all the time. I never knew time has really actually run. This morning, pretty hot matters we're seeing right here. But on the Punch newspaper, the issue on the crisis on fuel, Dangote is saying
they are telling him to slow. Marketers are saying he should slow down, follow due process, because he is saying he wants to deliver directly, and they are saying he cannot handle it. He cannot cover the whole 36 states and the federal cabinet.
But he's a businessman, so.
But to another matter here on News Direct, the state governors are declaring emergency on our education. I'm thinking this is something that should have happened.
They listened to us yesterday.
They just woke up, all right? They just woke up. I mean, it's obvious that our education sector needs help. You know, when I saw this thing, I was thinking of China that had deliberate policies and implemented those policies as far as the 50s on the educational sector. It's now our governors are waking up.
I also saw that there's about 200 teachers that are needed nationwide. The government
200,000.
200,000, exactly.
Yes.
The issue right now is not about filling seats. It's about empowering minds. It's not just about saying they're out of school children. Let's get them into school.
How qualified are those teachers?
To do the job.
That's the bigger question.
Okay. The Platform Times is, spotlighting an after effect of the protest and bad governance. According to them here, 24 protesters had been killed and none has been prosecuted yet. Well, I don't know, but I'm sure the government knows exactly
Well,
how
a federal
to go
high
about
court
this.
sitting in Lagos had ordered that the Inspector General of Police and State Commissioner of Police pay about 10 million naira in damages to some of the NSAS protesters for violation of their rights. So I think Amnesty International also needs to have that information as much as it is pursuing all of that it is pursuing.
Why is Amnesty International carrying our matters on our head for us, is my question.
Well, they are
fighting for the
not,
rights
it's not
of
just, it's
people.
not just Nigeria.
I'm saying it's a wonderful thing. We should be as informed. We should be as on top of our issues. I worry that because we don't like protests, we're not always very democratic. The legal system is reflecting that. They're not prioritizing the people who suffered.
Well, you know, like Vera rightly said, alongside them asking for prosecution for the others, I think they should also be championing the delivery or the execution rather of that judgment, you know, that said compensate these guys, right? But the Guardian newspaper and the Sporting Life, you know, are talking sports this morning. Osimhen, was seeing him succeeding at the end of the day. But Veronica, Trump, America First policy. You know, that's on the Guardian.
Yes, that America First policy. You know that the Olympics is coming up, the 23rd Olympics, and it will be happening in the U.S. and some other countries around the U.S. And there are concerns about visa, about access, about movement, as we have been seeing his clampdown, ICE, and all of that. And so they are saying that this might have its implications for the Olympics. And then how will people get their visas? We see that some countries have even been banned, and there are people who are meant to come. We know the unifying effect of Olympics is the whole world, and here you are saying America first. How are these people supposed to come into the country?
Maybe only Americans,
and have free movement.
Only Americans will play the Olympics.
Issues. So it will have economic implications for the US.
Of course. But that's how far we can go on the newspaper review segment this morning. Thank you, everyone.